Hello and welcome. Today, I'd like to introduce the SQL editor in NeoSQL. I'll show you how to write SQL quickly with Code Assist, run just the part you want, and edit results directly in the grid, along with a special feature that puts spatial data right on a map. For this demo, I'll use a sample real estate listings table and data that I've already set up in a PostgreSQL database. Before we start, let's first add a new SQL editor. In the tree on the left, right-click the public schema, then click New SQL Editor. In the Create SQL Editor dialog that opens, just click OK to add it. Let's start with a simple query. As you type up to the From clause, a list of the tables you can use appears, so you can pick one and drop it straight in. Now, let's delete the asterisk we just used, the one that means select every column. As you can see, NeoSQL expands the full list of columns for the current table, ready for you to insert at once. And if you type a column name that doesn't exist or make a typo, NeoSQL points it out with a red underline, just like this. Let's try an insert statement too. Type just the table name, and NeoSQL builds out a complete insert statement covering every column of that table. All you have to do is fill in the values. When you write SQL in a hurry, it's easy to end up with everything crammed onto one line or with the indentation all over the place. When that happens, you can use the code format shortcut or click the Format button at the top to tidy up keyword alignment, line breaks, and indentation all in one go. Let's format a select statement as well. This way, the SQL your team shares stays in a consistent, readable style. To run just one statement out of several, place your cursor inside the statement you want, then click the Execute button at the top. Or press Command plus Enter or Control plus Enter on Windows. NeoSQL shows exactly where the statement being run starts and ends with a green bar in the left gutter. And while it's running, that bar turns orange. In the result panel at the bottom, you can see the data that was returned. And on top of that, the total number of rows and how long the query took to run. If you want to run only a specific part, drag to select the range you want, then run it the same way. With the shortcut, or the Execute button, only the selected fragment runs. You can confirm in the Result tab below that only the selected query ran. To run every statement in the current SQL tab, click Run Script at the top, or press Command plus Shift plus Enter, Control plus Shift plus Enter on Windows. The results are shown across several tabs at the bottom. Right now, we're in auto commit mode, so the insert was applied immediately. In just a moment, I'll show you how to control that manually. If you want to run only some of the statements rather than all of them, drag to select those statements and click Run Script. Only the statements you selected run in order. Looking at the Result tabs, you can see that this time, unlike before, the insert statement was left out. Sometimes you want to see how a query is actually executed, its execution plan. For that, just click the Plan button at the top. The Explain output then appears in the Result tab below, laid out as an execution plan tree. The SQL editor's default mode is Auto Commit. Turn off the Auto Commit toggle at the top, and it switches to Manual mode. Now, when you run an insert statement in this mode, the Commit and Rollback buttons next to the Auto Commit toggle become active. Let's check whether the insert went through in the current session. As you can see, the data we just entered is right there. From here, Click Commit to confirm the change or rollback to undo it. Let's go with a rollback this time. Greg's. The deal record we just added was cleanly undone by the rollback, so you can experiment with your data safely without worrying about anything being applied by mistake. Now let's take a closer look at the Result tab. NeoSQL doesn't stop at simply showing your query results. You can edit values right in the grid, and an editor suited to each column's type pops up automatically. For example, an ENUM column like listing status, which only accepts a fixed set of values, shows the choices in a dropdown. For date columns, you can pick a value easily with a date picker component. For values stored as JSON, like a listing's features, we recommend using the preview panel on the right instead of editing in the grid cell. Click the pretty button and it's laid out nicely. Options like parking, elevator, and pets are easy to take in at a glance. For columns that hold an image URL, like a listing photo, the value panel on the right renders the actual image right there. You can preview it straight from the grid, with no need to open the link separately. Or you can open it in an external browser with the Open in Browser button. Spatial data, like coordinates, isn't just shown as WKT text. With the Preview button, you can check the actual location on a map right away. Each listing is dropped as a pin at its spot across Washington, D.C. And in Edit mode, you can enter new coordinates to move the location. Let's edit one of the values. Then click the Preview Changes button to see exactly what SQL statement gets prepared. And here you can see that when you edit a spatial value, the update statement is automatically wrapped with st_gaim from text. Foreign key columns get a magnifying glass icon. Click it, and you can preview the referenced row in a pop-up right away. So you can see which agent is in charge without having to write a separate join query. You can also sort and filter using the column headers. There are two modes for this. Client mode sorts and filters instantly, right where you are, based on the results already loaded. Server mode sends the order by or where back as a real query, sorting and filtering against the entire dataset. By default, the SQL Editor fetches only the first 200 rows when you run a query. And that's where the difference comes in. Client mode sorts and filters within the 200 rows it has already fetched, while server mode sorts and filters against all of the data on the server, and then fetches the top 200 rows of that result. Since the two mean genuinely different things, it's worth understanding exactly which one you're using. You can also export the full result with your sorting and filtering applied, using the CSV, JSON, or Excel buttons. And keep in mind that the way this export works also differs between client mode and server mode. That's a look at the SQL Editor, its code assist, its flexible execution modes, and result editing that spans everything from maps to JSON. Give NeoSQL a try yourself, and you'll find you can work with SQL far faster and more comfortably. Thanks for watching.